Hello and welcome to Behind the Music. I'm Kareem Bedder, and in this series I'm here to give you a composer's insight into some of the music you know and love. In today's video, as part of the ABRSM Piano Grade Edition, we'll be staring down one of nature's most ferocious predators in T-Rex Hungry, and I'll be showing you step by giant step how you could have written this cinematic music all for yourself. Before we get started, if you'd like to hear a full playthrough, click the link in the description below. Otherwise, let's begin. Today, you're none other than Australian pianist and composer Sonny Chua. You've written several volumes of piano music, playfully dipping into all sorts of styles, showing off your big imagination and your incredible sense of fun at the keyboard. You've even worked as a musical director for the Walt Disney Company, so you know all about telling a story with music. It's now 1993, and 3 years after Michael Crichton's bestseller was published, the movie Jurassic Park has been released. John Williams did a great job on the score, but you just know you can add your own unique spin, and piano players are going to love it. The highest grossing movie of all time certainly struck a chord with you. You're inspired to write something about the biggest and baddest of the movie's characters, Rexy, the terrible T-Rex. But where to start? Well, in the movie, Rexy always shows up to wreak havoc, but what does she actually get up to when the cameras aren't watching? That's your angle, a day in the life of a T-Rex. There's an easy way to start and end this dinosaur's adventures, so you've already got two pieces in the bag. T-Rex awake and T-Rex asleep.
She's asleep now, I can't say that. She's gonna be asleep a minute from now.
So what does a T-Rex do during the waking hours? You look over at the piano, lift the cover, and the keys start to look like the teeth of a giant carnivore. T-Rex hungry. And so are you. Let's get this done before dinner. First, let's choose a key and a time signature. Since it's all about danger with a hungry T-Rex on the hunt, a minor key would be a great start. But since we might want to tell the story in a cinematic way, it might be a good idea to focus more on crunchy dissonances rather than staying within a clear key. In that case, so we don't have to worry about remembering extra sharps or flats if we start getting atonal, let's stick with an A minor start. Feeling the music in 2 beats, 1, 2, 1, 2, would be a good option, because that gives us a left, right sort of march feel. That will be perfect for our image of a hungry T-Rex stalking its prey. And to keep the notation simple to read, let's stick with a quaver as the smallest time value. All of that would mean that a 2-2 time signature might be the better option instead of a 2-4, because we can make our quavers nice and fast for extra drama, action and energy. First, let's make a repeating ostinato, a fancy word for a repeated pattern, to create some tension, like the from Jaws. But we want to make our own version. Jaws used a minor second. Let's use the distance of a minor third and then a minor second for a similar but slightly different effect. Then we can add a little more tension. Remember that scene in Jurassic Park with the ripples in the glass of water? We can add an emphasis on each beat to mark our dino's approaching footsteps. And let's throw in our own little signal to show that something's wrong. Something to add a little crunch. Another minor second can give us the effect we want. So let's get the right hand putting a short G sharp just below the A at the start of the bar. And by the 4th and 5th bars, we'll change the rhythm slightly to really see the action kick off. Since we're not using a clear melody, there's really no need to stick to a regular 4-bar phrase structure. We'll just follow the drama to score what's going on and Mickey Mouse it. Mickey Mousing is the name for a technique of music that was composed for early animations in the 1930s and beyond. It describes what happens when the music punctuates physical motions and even replaces sound effects in slapstick cartoons like Tom and Jerry. It was easy to time animations to. The first time we saw such synchronization of music and visual animation on the screen was in a 1928 animated cartoon, Steamboat Willie, which starred Mickey Mouse. Now I've managed to wedge that in there, This piece isn't exactly Mickey Mousing per se, because we're just trying to paint a picture with our music. But if we have some of these techniques in mind, we can use them later to describe some of the action with our music. We've finished a few bars already. Time for the T-Rex to reveal itself from behind the bushes. Let's use repeated staccato notes in the bass so that we know something hungry this way comes. With a clashing B above it as well. Now, as Roxy moves forward, a rising chromatic scale will raise the tension to help us see the leaves shaking and the trees being flattened before bar 7, the dinosaur's theme in all its monstrous glory. Out of the bushes, it's in full stride. Let's move the opening theme down a tone to outline G minor this time. Let's mark these giant footsteps with deep accents on each beat. Which notes to choose? Well, let's take an idea from the right hand. If we reverse and invert the pattern of intervals, so a third up, second down, and a second up, we get a second down, a second up, and a third down. That sounds slightly ominous, doesn't it? And since it's going down, let's make the most of that sinking feeling with a major third instead of a minor third this time at the end, as the dinosaur gets closer and closer. It's only getting more tense. So next, why not push that bass line up a semitone from the E flat to an E? And now let's link that up with a rising run to bridge the gap up to the E natural as we get even louder. The dinosaur's so close, it's snapping at us. Let's take the Mickey for a moment and use the music to recreate that chomping action.
Jaw-chomping action! You can take on any dino rival!
Which notes to use? Let's use another dissonant interval. We've already used the minor second plenty, which gave us that crunchy sound near the start. Let's move things on a bit with the tritone instead, also known as the devil in music. The tritone is one of the most unsettling dissonant feelings of any interval. It divides the octave exactly in half. So a tritone above an E is the same as a tritone below. It's going to be a B flat in both instances. Its unsettling effect is most noticeable when it's exposed. Interestingly, there is a tritone also hidden within the dominant 7th chord. So it's worth noting that while it sounds pretty abrasive on its own, the context makes a huge difference, so a dissonant interval can be hidden in chords and melodies to create tension in more subtle ways too. Let's think about how that T-Rex is snapping so we can mirror the movement in the music. You could imagine the giant T-Rex's mouth thrashing about wildly, so why not break up the quavers of the bar into different groups to give it a bit more of a random feel. In a bar of 2-2, we can fit 8 quavers in, normally as 2 even groups of 4. 1, 2. But instead of grouping them regularly, we can use a mixture of 2s and 3s to really inject some energy and make that jerky movement stand out. To fill up the bar, all we need to do is choose a combination that can still add up to 8. That gives us 3 options. First, 3 plus 3 plus 2. 3 plus 2 plus 3. Or 2 plus 3 plus 3. I think 3 plus 3 plus 2 works the best, as the group of 2 at the end of the bar keeps that momentum pushing forward, feeling like it's rushing onto the next bar. So let's go with that. To help make that different rhythmic grouping clear to the listener, let's emphasise the first note of each group of 3 or 2 with a low strike in the left hand, and we'll really hammer the keys there too with our sforzando. Well, that was pretty intense, but we're not dead just yet. Time to hide behind a rock to see if we can shake this giant predator. That's right, just tiptoe slowly, maybe she won't see us. We can continue the left hand and the right hand, split over an octave to really Mickey Mouse our creeping. Let's look at a few similar examples. We can achieve this too with some light tentative staccato notes. As we're not firmly in a key, it really doesn't matter too much which notes we choose here, as long as they paint the picture we're trying to create. Since we started with a tritone of E and B flat, the tritone found in C7, why don't we start on a spiky C here? We'll use the shape we made with the bass line in bar 7, but this time we can make the most of our tense intervals again. The minor second to drop down and back up from a B, and the tritone to jump up in the right hand and down in the left hand to an F sharp. As some opposite motion between the two hands makes this sound a bit more well-rounded and less predictable as a musical idea. When we follow the same direction with the right hand and the left hand voices, they tend to sound a bit stuck together and lifeless. If we get our feet stuck together with tangled shoelaces, we've got no chance against this tyrannosaur.
Game over.
Let's use the same ideas again for the next 4 bars. As we're spotted, we escape a few more snaps and maybe start creeping through a hollow tree trunk that's lying on the ground. I think we've lost her. This time we'll move up a tentative minor second instead of ending on that dramatic tritone. And we're making a run for it. Let's continue the chromatic run up to D. And alternate that with a minor second above. Nice. In between these, let's add a drone on A, creating a perfect 4th tritone alternating pattern. And we'll start with both hands for a proper scrambling run. And then free up the right hand when we're at full sprint, because our not so little friend is on the move. We'll repeat the crunchy sound from the beginning over this new left hand pattern with a tritone above D and a minor second below A. So we've got even more tension than we had before. This time, the stabs under the chromatic scale can lead us down a minor third to give the dissonant feeling of a diminished chord, as we can move down another minor third then, covering the tritone and cutting it half in the middle. The chromatic scale in the right hand can then climb in the opposite direction, so both hands are moving outwards, getting higher and lower at the same time towards the end. And I'm going to make this a choose your own ending kind of story. But before we do that, let's take a look at our final chords. We can make a climactic cinematic scene with the same notes from the snapping, but this time with an E flat in the bass and a D snuck in under the highest E. So this chord will contain a tritone between the B flat and E, a major second between D and E, a minor second between D and E flat, and a minor second between E flat and E. This is pure chaos in a chord. And to finish, after some moments of silence, let's have a chord with a minor second and a tritone, as the A clashes with the B flat and the E flat. And the low bass note, D, will take the lowest note of the last chords down one final sinking semitone. And cut. So, let me ask you, what happened? Did the T-Rex catch and swallow her prey? Did we escape when she clumsily fell off a cliff? Or something else? Let me know in the comments below. Whatever happened to the character in our movie scene, I think David Attenborough would be proud. We've successfully followed a T-Rex through its daily routine and survived in the process. Well done you. If you'd like to hear the finished piece, then click the link in the description below for a quick rendition. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Behind the Music. If you have, and you'd like to see more like this, then please leave a like, share with a friend, comment down below, and if you want to make sure you don't miss any future videos, why not hit that subscribe button and bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new one. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, don't just have a good one, make it a masterpiece. See you in the next video.